completed in Christ, and you are complete in Him who is the head of all principality and power. Colossians chapter 2 verse 10 is one of the most important verses in the Christ life message. It states what God's intention is for humans. He has created us after his own image and likeness, but all become marred by Satan's entrance into their lives. Actually, there were reasons why this was allowed to happen. If Adam and Eve had not failed, humanity would have never known what sin was and the price those that sin must pay. Remember, the cross was already the focus of God's plan before sin entered the world. This was the beginning of God's plan for his creations. Long before the creation of humans, he had already planned for the final aspect of their creation. That final aspect was that one day, to complete his creation of humans, he would have to put another life in us, a life different from the one we started out with. This new life would compatible with his creation of us in his likeness and image. This meant that all humans living from Adam to this day would be complete as far as our creation was concerned. Thus, all humans would struggle with their existence in this world because we were incomplete until God's design of completing us took place. The Old Testament, which covers a time frame of 4,000 years, describes the struggles humanity experienced. Faced with their sin and failure to obey God, their only salvation was to do what God said. They had to keep His laws and look forward to a better day. The problem with this was that humans within themselves could never please God. In the 4,000 years period, only a handful of people pleased God. But God continued his plan of not completing the human until he felt that the humans themselves were ready for a change. The most important thing that kept humans from pleasing God was their inability to do what was right. God, in His mercy, finally set aside a group of people called Israel to see if His very personal way of dealing with them would cause them to obey and love Him. For 1,700 years, God dealt with Israel in a very direct way. He gave them everything in the natural world that they needed. They had one miracle after another. God made unbelievable promises and covenants with them, and He made a glorious life for them. But in the end, they miserably failed. Finally, God sent His most precious possession, His Son, to help them and love them. But they turned Him down and continued their erring ways. They finally had a hand in killing Him. It was obvious there was nothing God could do with the human as he was. He had a good creation in the image and likeness to God, but it was miserably incomplete. The rejection of God's Son put into motion the final plan of God for humans to be completed. They must be rebirthed. He must do what he had planned before he created Adam. He would take the one that humanity rejected and birth him in the human. This would make the human compatible with God's image and likeness already in us. With Christ in us, he would no longer depend on us. He could depend upon Christ, who was our new life. Now the creation of the human was completed in Christ. To God be the glory. God bless you.